everybody. In this episode, we fished my laptop out of the water with a fishing rod and did a number of motor tests. We bought a transmission cooler and compared it against a computer fan. The transmission cooler had a 1200 CFM fan, massive, and the computer fans were 75 CFM each. And we put 6 of them on a computer rad and compared it against 3 of them on the computer rad. And then we made a decision about which way we wanted to go.
Said you won't believe this, but we snagged my laptop that fell over water.
I just don't drop the damn thing.
Yeah.
I just
Look at all the dirt.
Oh.
Lucky it was in the case.
Yeah.
So I was snagging it with the other one, but I just couldn't get it. Eh?
It might not be that wet.
Open it up.
Is your case waterproof?
I have no idea.
Well, there's wood at the bottom there.
Yeah. No, it's just a
Watch
cloth
the
bag.
hook shit somebody doesn't get this. Do you
Yeah.
want to just...
Thanks, Jeff, for your help.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, that's
Hey.
awesome.
You know what?
I'm going to take the SSD out, put it into a...
There's so much water.
Are you videoing it?
There's
Yeah,
so much
don't open it because I left it on.
Yeah, so just leave it.
Leave it
closed.
leave it
on?
closed so it doesn't try to turn on. Yeah, and then we'll put it in a bag of rice.
What if it actually does turn on after a couple
No,
weeks?
I don't think so. Yeah,
No, I'd take it in. It'd be amazing. Just make sure. Yeah. Well, there's the thing.
who would have thought, eh? Doing yet another test. I've got the double fan test going, 1800 watts. And I'm measuring temperature, 62.9. Measuring the fan temperature, 34.2. And then I'm measuring the battery here, 73%. So it's showing me 1836, 1858. So that's just the motor and some lights, but basically that's the motor running. And then I'm measuring the temperature at the hottest point on the controller because there's a few spots, so I'm being consistent about where I measure that. And then the other thing is 8:53. So in 1 minute, I've got to measure them again. Every 3 minutes, I'm recording. And I'm almost at an hour because I started at 08 and I'm at 53, so in 10 minutes I'll be 1 hour running at 1800 watts, and my battery has dropped from 99%, I wasn't quite fully charged today, to 73%, and I've been checking the voltages too, and right now I'm at 51.6. That's pretty much like a low cutoff for me, but it's under load right now, and it's been very consistent. So 52, 51.9, 51.8, linear with the percentages. So I'm just recording the battery percentages, and I'll graph that on top of the fan temperature and the motor temperature. So I've got to do it again here. It's been 3 minutes. So I'm checking right there. 64.2, and it's weird, it kind of goes up down. It's been cycling a little bit. So 64.2, and then I go up here and I check my fan. I know it's a bit dark, but there's my fans, and this one is 34.8. 34.8, and my battery is going to be 71. There it is, 71. So I'm going to report on this. I guess I'll put more detail on the Patreon site, all the graphs and all the detail, but I'll report on it here just in terms of, you know, doing a comparison. A lot of people have asked me, what's my range, what's my, you know, it's like there's so many it depends. So right now I'm just doing a raw battery drain, 1800 watts, very consistent, and I'm going to go an hour, and then it's basically going to drop. It looks like in 1 hour I'm going to go from 99 to 69, so 30%, and that was my guess. So 30% every hour, so I can go for about 2.5 hours based on 100 amp hours. Based upon 100 amp hours and these lithium batteries, I'm drawing out 35 amps. When I did my motor testing, 1800 watts gets me 4.5 knots almost. So, like, that's just, you know, I'm getting into being inefficient here at 1800. I never go this fast. I might go 1200 to 1500 watts. That'd be my peak. After running for an hour, I'm up to 64 degrees Celsius. So, and it's been consistent like that for about the last half an hour. It's been 62, 62, 63, 64, 62, 63, 64, kind of in that range. And my fan temperature went up to about 34 and 35, 34, 34, 33, 34, and the fan temperature has been about the same. So anyways, I'm going to cut this off at 9:08, so I've done 1 full hour. And then Saturday, I'm going to rip out the radiator and replace that with a transmission cooler and a fan on it that does 1100 CFMs. My current fans do 400. So I'm effectively tripling the fan, and the radiator blades are about the same. It's roughly the same size. This might be an extra inch, but I think really it's the CFMs down with the fan that makes a difference, because it just gets the heat out of the radiator faster. So my power draw is going to go up, because I'm going to do this test again and see what difference it makes. Here's where I am after 1 hour, 61% battery. So running 1800 watts, 1789 right now. Seems to fluctuate a little bit up and down, so I don't really have an answer for you, but I'm going to shut it off here now. So I made it basically peaked at about 63 degrees Celsius, and the battery was linear, so it looks like I went from 99 to 61, so about 38% of my battery. So that would make about sense, because it's running 35 amps, 36 amps, so 36 times 2 is 72 amps, and 100 amp hour battery, you should be able to use it up to 80% of it, roughly. So over 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours 15 minutes is about what my run time is. And I know that running at that speed, I'm going to be around 4.5 knots, so 4.5 is about 9. So that's where my expectations are, to be about 10 nautical miles, 10 to 12 nautical miles, based upon my current battery and not having any charging, because I'm doing this test. As you can see here behind me, it's dusk, so I'm getting nothing from solar. So every time you peeked here, you can see solar 0, and I don't have any power plugged in, so I just did raw right off the batteries. It's a good test, and now I'm going to compare this, because I don't have my data in front of me, but I want to compare this to only half of the fans on the radiator to see if it made any difference at all. So basically I had 375 CFM, so about 225 CFM, and then I raised that to 450 by doubling it, by putting the extra 3 fans. I'm just seeing if that actually makes any difference at all, and I think it did, but not in the top end. I think it made it in the low end. So I just want to say thanks for watching these videos. And like I said, I'm just trying to share the knowledge that I'm gaining here as I do a little bit of work, a little bit of experimentation. I don't mind kind of changing these parts out a little bit, so it's giving me, it's teaching me what's going on, right, with the system, and that's really the main thing. So thanks for the thumbs up. If you like this video, I really appreciate it. It helps me out. And I like reading your comments. Makes me think on what I'm doing, and a lot of smart people out there. So I'm just thankful for you know, the feedback and questions that make me think a little bit differently than I am now. We're going to turn this fan on, get ready to get blown away. This is the Mishimoto Push the Limits transmission cooler fan kit. So what you would typically do is you would bolt this onto the inside of your transmission cooler, and then or on your radiator, sorry, and then you would apply your transmission lines. So I said, well, let me try it out. And it has a 1200 CFM fan compared to my 400 CFM in the old one. So, all right, David, crank her. I don't know if you can hear that. Holy crap. So we're going to run some tests now. I think I'm just going to do the 3,500 watt test and just see if we can even do it. Like I said, that's double what I would ever use. So I'm going to try that now. Key on. Engine on. Engage. This is, push it down, David, a bit, please. We're at 4,000 watts. Lower. I'm getting alarms, everything going on here. Okay, that's 3,000. Okay, a little more. All right. 51 already. So we're turning the fan on.
So we just got our new radiator and fan in, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's pretty loud. And right now Dad's trying to top up the antifreeze.
Just yet another modification to this pumping cooling system. What I decided, well, the motor was slightly overheating over time, so I said I needed to get that into the system, and I debated whether or not I wanted one pump for the both or two. I decided to go with two pumps, keep them as separate systems, mainly because the controller, I think, is going to be heating, is quite a bit hotter than the motor, so I can kind of keep the motor at a cooler temperature by having a separate pump for it, even though it's going to use up a little bit more energy that way. But I'm going to elect to go this way, so I'm just going to show you my setup here. So I've got one set of connections going into this second pump, and the first pump is going into the cooling system behind the controller. And this one, like I said, is quite a bit hotter than the motor. The motor I can touch. This is pretty hot. It's a little loud, but down here I've got the computer fan running the controller, and I've got the bigger transmission cooler fan running the motor right now. But I'm actually going to switch that out to another setup like this. I'm not exactly too sure I understand why, but aside from the cooling setup, this one here has like kind of a big tube that goes through with a bunch of fins, and then the fan takes off the air through the fins, whereas this one here is kind of like a block, like a radiator, and there's like really thin lines with a bunch of fins, so there's a lot more of them. So I think the surface area on that other one, the other radiator, the 360 millimeter computer fan, is actually a better density than this transmission cooler kit from Mishimoto, because my controller runs about 5 to 6 degrees hotter on this one versus the computer one, and the fan is twice the power than all 4 of these fans. So I'm like wasting energy, and I'm not quite getting the same cooling. And And that's why I'm running another test right now. I'm testing it, and it's coming up true here. I'll show you. 1850, 70. And it is now 6. I've got 1 minute before my check. But with running the Mega Fan, I was hitting 69, 68, 69, 68, 65, 67, 67, 70 after 1 hour. Whereas it's hanging around 63, so it's like 5 degrees cooler. 62.4 was my last check-in. And I'm going to check it here right now. We'll see what it is as soon as that turns over. So I started running the test here with putting the motor and the cooling with no fan, but it didn't really make any difference. So this is the hottest spot. So now it's 68.3. That's interesting. 68.3, and this motor 35.9. 35.9. So the motor went down in temperature, but the controller went up a little bit. And it could be because the power is creeping up. What I have to do every once in a while is check the... See, now it's 64, 66, 62, 66, 64, 66.4. So it's hard to... I don't know. It depends on where it is. So but 68.3, it's what I registered. So anyways, that's kind of how I'm testing it. I'm just going with this thing. I know it's not 100% accurate. It's probably got a 5 or 10% error margin on the thermometer, but I'm really just kind of looking over time, what is it doing, and then I'm using the exact same system for testing every time I've done this. So I'll keep going and I'll let you guys know the results. Everybody, so we're doing one more test. Just want to do one more sanity check before we commit to these radiators. So I'm going to test both radiators out. We've got both running, and then we're going to test the motor temperatures, and then we're going to flip them and then test the controller and motor temperatures a second time with the radiators reversed, and that'll basically secure in which ones we're going to pick. So
I measure the temperature of the controller with the laser thermometer right here, and then I measure the motor right in the middle there, and then Mom has another thermometer outside by the fans, and then she tells me the temperature of the air coming out of the fans, and then I just write it down.
And this time we're using a thermometer instead of that meter, eh? So we're measuring the true air temperature.
I have to wait.
So what are you doing, Mom?
I have to wait for David to tell me when to give him the temperature of the ambient air in front of the fans. This is a meat thermometer that we bought, and it's in increments of 2 degrees Celsius.
Temperature.
Take the temperature.
So, I would say it's still 42.
42. So we've got the motor running here, and then you can see David's taking the tests.
It's 37.9.
37.9 on the motor.
Yeah.
Alright, and just to show you in here, this fan right now is running the radiator, and this fan is running the motor. Sorry, this fan right here is running the controller, and this fan right here is running the motor. And we're going to be checking the ambient temperature in reverse afterwards. And this probably makes more sense using a thermometer, because in using the temperature gun, it's probably been measuring the heat absorption on the fan itself and not the air temperature, whereas the thermometer is actually measuring the air temperature. So that's probably why. So we're just... How many more tests have we got to do?
5.
We've got 5 more tests of 3 minutes, so 15 more minutes of testing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these hoses and I'm going to swap them between the two units, and then re-top up any antifreeze that's missing, and then retest. And we're just doing 45 minutes of testing because it's pretty consistent. Whatever it gets at, it's not going up or down significantly as it carries on, so the temperature stays about the same. Oh, another temperature reading. 38. Okay. Did it change significantly?
No, it's all going up by like 0.2 every time.
0.2. All right, well, it's going up by 0.2. There you have it. Newsflash. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's better. Thank you. I can see. I'm kind of blind these days. I'm getting old. All right, let's get these things loose. Okay, a little bit of air got in the line, but that's okay. We've got a little bit out. Okay. I think I'm ready here. Do you want to turn the switch back on, David?
Okay.
So I have to go, I guess.
They're both low. As soon as I turned it on, all the liquid just vanished.
So I have to fill both?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see there's an airlock here because it's not moving. I created an airlock in here, so it's not pumping out. So now the controller is on this fan and the motor's on this fan. And we're going to see what the difference makes here when we do our temperature. Kind of interesting. We actually flipped them, and the motor temperatures were pretty close, like within a degree. 76 to 35, 36, 37, 37. 40, 38, 38, 39, 37, 39, 36, 40. So hard to tell, but... And then here on the VEC controller, it started out a little bit better, but then it worked out to be about the same. So the air temperature reached about 40. It got a little hotter with the other one, so that might be the only difference, is the air temperature. Measuring the air coming out of the transmission cooler measured a little bit less than the air coming out of the computer rad. That's what really the difference was. I would say everything else is pretty comparable, like, you know, give or take. It's probably when I layer these out on a graph and look at them. So I'm going to say it's probably not that much difference one or the other, except one is running. So the big fan's running 48 watts, and the other one was using 1.5 watts per fan times 6 is 9 watts. So that's the difference, is saving 40 watts per unit by sticking with the fans. And then my previous test was interesting because it showed that there was not much difference between 3 fans and 6 fans. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase another 360 millimeter computer fan. I'm going to take out the transmission cooler, and I'm going to transfer 3 fans to it. But I'll report on anything significant, probably on the Patreon page. But at this point, I'm going to say it's pretty close to an even match. Reverse. Yep. Slow. That's it. So. Art to art. Okay. So, see before now.